Welcome to our bonus episode of Fangirl Football. Today we're going to talk prop bets. Now that we're down to just a single game, I need something to look forward to on Sunday because I'm not super excited about the game itself. So maybe if I put some money on the line, I'll have something to keep me more entertained.
Yes, very
Um,
thankful for sports betting since we got a Chiefs Eagles and it's very hard to pick a favorite here.
Yeah, I need something to entertain me. But before we jump in, just looking at the sports books, I did find some interesting information that I did not know, and that was on novelty prop bets. So think of the coin flip or what color is the Gatorade going to be. And I did not realize that even if sports betting is legal in your state, so you may have DraftKings and Fanduel, that the novelty bets not are not necessarily legal. So betting on the color of Gatorade is only legal in 2 states, Illinois and New Jersey. And then also novelty bets that include like Taylor Swift or the halftime show, they're not actually legal in any of the US states. Did not know that.
And
So you're
that is
not going to
weird. So
find
yeah,
those.
definitely check what options you have available. We're going to be mostly talking about the main two sports books with DraftKings and FanDuel, but especially the smaller ones. And if you're in a state that allows prop bets, like have fun and enjoy those markets. Um, but yeah, we're really just going to be running through some of the main bets we like as far as like player props and some weird ones that we get because it's the Super Bowl. There's one game, there's a ton of people betting on it, and so they'll throw these weird markets out, and I think there is room for us to take advantage of it too.
Excellent. Well, let's jump into it. And I'm going to let you drive, and we'll see if you can convince me which side I should bet on in some of these prop bets. So, what's our first option?
That sounds good. So we'll start with kind of the more likely to hit bets and then go more to the fun long shots later on.
Sounds
Kicking it
good.
off with one of my favorites. It's at a minus 130 price. So for every $1.30 that you bet on this, you would get $1 in profit. But the bet is Eagles to have under 5.5 players with a reception. The Eagles really just have consolidated targets. This is on DraftKings, and that price is on DraftKings this morning. But in the past 7 games, they've only been over this mark one time, and that one time was with Tanner McKee at quarterback. It wasn't a Jalen Hurts game, it was the game he was hurt. They tend to be very concentrated on their targets. It's going to Saquon, it's going to AJ Brown, it's going to Smith, and then Goedert. And then you kind of have that one wild card for wiggle room with either Gainwell or maybe a Dotson. But they're not going to typically both be involved. So,
Okay. So, as long as somebody doesn't get hurt, which I'm thinking, I'm tossing out like Calcaterra coming in as the backup tight end or something, as long as we don't get some injury and somebody new in here, we probably won't hit that over. All right.
yeah, injuries tend to kind of skew that. And then there's also like props for over like two people throwing a pass. So there's some weird ones out there, but I like this one too because they are really consolidated for their targets. I actually, if you want an alternative, you don't like the Eagles side of this. I like all the unders for this type of bets. I like the Chiefs. Their line is at 8.5, and
Wow.
they are consistently higher, and they typically get 8 people involved, but they're never over that 8 limit. And in the Super Bowl, they've been consolidated, so I'm fine playing that under, but it has a steeper price tag at minus 175 compared to the minus 130.
Mm.
And then the combined one for the game is at 13.5. I also like that, but it's minus 160. So really just kind of focusing on this one for the price tag and the value.
I always like those combined ones. I feel like I have more opportunity there for things to go wrong. I don't know why. I do that on Prize Picks too. So whenever they're combining players and I get both of them for a single stat, those are
I
my
like that
favorite.
for the overs, but it kind of worries me for the under. If I have an under, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna sweat this one team.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'm always looking for the over. I'm one of those people, which I think a lot of people are, that don't like to bet on the under. I like to think positive, and we always go on the over unless it's
Yeah.
interceptions. Okay, I'm in on this one. I can go Eagles under 5.5 players for receptions. What
All right.
else
The
you got?
next one I got is Samaje Perine over 6.5 yards for his longest reception. And this one I didn't really like. So I was actually kind of looking to take Samaje Perine's unders. I was looking for his under reception total, and I kind of zoned in on this one and did some more research. And I found that he's hit this line in 16 of 19 games this season. Only 3 games, and 2 of those games he didn't have a single reception. So the games where he has 1 reception, he's going to hit this line. And then I was looking, it's like, well, what do the sports books think his probability is to have 1 reception? Because I'm confident if he has that reception, I'm getting that 6.5 yard.
It's yeah.
And they have his probability, like implied probability for getting at least 1 catch at 72%. And you're getting about even money for this bet. So if they think he's going to get a catch, I don't really know why this line isn't higher. And I'd be happy to take 6.5 at 6.5 for the longest reception at minus 114.
All right.
Uh,
Now can I parlay these two? Oh, one's DraftKings, one's FanDuel. Do they
yeah, this
always
one
have
is
different ones? Or can I find
FanDuel.
it, you think?
You probably can find it on these sports books. I know that the Perine one on FanDuel does work in same game parlays, and I do like adding it in there. I really see like how it goes wrong is one of those games was the playoffs. So one of the games he didn't have catching was the playoffs. It was the divisional round against the Texans. And he has been seeing less snaps with the inclusion of Hollywood Brown in that offense. So he's getting, and we had to like sweat for it to hit last week. Last week was that first down, crucial catch against the Bills, and then he hit this number. But he is on the field less. But if the sportsbook thinks he has a 72% probability to get a catch, I'm kind of willing to take that wiggle room and that value.
Yeah, we just need that one catch. You might be waiting all game for it, but you're looking for that one catch and then he'll hit the over
Yeah,
on it.
kind of a fun thing. It's like both these games, it's like you're going to be invested. Both these bets so far, you're going to be invested the entire game, kind of counting those players in the back of your head.
That's true. Yeah, it is going to last the whole game probably. You're not going to, first quarter go, "Oh, I got that."
Yeah,
All right. I think you've sold me. I was very hesitant on that one at first because we talked in DFS that we did not like Samaje Perine being included by all the optimizers, but I guess they're looking for that one catch at whatever price he is. And if it's
yeah,
got a 72% chance, then and it's over, let's say it's even 10 yards, now he's worth 2 points. Maybe that's enough.
exactly. It's like his stat line last week, he had 0 rushes and 1 catch. I don't want that for fantasy, but I'm happy to still take this bet on him.
Okay.
Moving on to the third bet I got. So this one is a weird one and definitely one of those like special markets you're really only going to see on the Super Bowl. It was a first touchdown scorer in the game with a jersey number that's under 15 and a half. So they had both sides of it. They were both the same price, minus 115, and you had the over under 15 and a half. And this one also, I was kind of drawn. I wanted the over 15 and a half. I'm like, that's got to be so many more players. What are my
Right.
odds there? So I just kind of pulled what odds they had for the first touchdown and look at the probability that the sports books are giving. And I found that like the over 15 and a half jersey numbers, so that's going to be your Saquon, your Kareem Hunt, your Travis Kelsey, they only combined for 46% of the probability for that first touchdown. The under 15 and a half gets you basically everyone else. All the wide receivers, so AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, every single Chiefs receiver, and then both quarterbacks. So kind of a fun thing, just right at the beginning of the game. It is kind of a toss up, but we're gonna be talking some other touchdown bets later where it's kind of a hedge on this. So I thought it'd be fun to get the game started.
I was wondering about that whole, could we hedge putting a Saquon first touchdown scorer bet and offset this a little bit on our risk. So that's kind of interesting. I do find it very funny that I can place this bet and bet on the jersey number, but I cannot bet on the coin toss or the Gatorade color. That
Yeah,
makes no sense.
yeah. And I think this one is probably they had some fun making it and like making what's the number they're deciding on. I think this is the closest one they got, but it still was like an almost an 8% difference between the over and under as far as the sides. Something to get different and something
Yep,
to talk about
good
during the
odds.
game.
Yeah. What's next?
So next, and that one was on DraftKings. This one's also on DraftKings. They had a pool with all the players or all the offensive players, and it's the fastest ball carrier in the game. and I like Saquon at plus 225. So Saquon has been showing that breakaway speed all season long. According to Next Gen Stats, he holds 5 of the top 20 spots for the entire season out of the entire league. So, especially in a 1 game sample, getting him at plus 225 and getting a nice bit of profit there, I like him here. And you really need a combination of both the physical ability to be the fastest ball carrier, and you need that long play, or you need motion. You need to be able to get up to speed to actually demonstrate that. So, with kind of those two conditions, the physical ability and the opportunity, I think there's really only 3 people that could possibly win it, and that's Saquon, Worthy, or Brown. So, I kind of like Saquon. My alternative bet is that if you want to also put money on Worthy at plus 250, if either of them hit, you'd make a slight profit. So that's kind of a less risky way to do this, but I'm fine laying money on Saquon. He's been great all season.
That's pretty interesting. I like that one. Yeah, this one's probably my favorite so far. I like putting money on both of them and then still
Yeah,
making money.
kind of a theme with this. It's like there's been so much money bet on these games already, and some of the lines are shifting. And like, I like betting on Saquon, but his line for running is ridiculous. It's like
Yeah.
110 yards. So I don't really want to make that. And finding other ways to kind of attack it and get pieces of it that I like, I think are fun in the Super Bowl. So next, we also have a very similar bet of a player I like for a like game-wide competition, and it's Dallas Goedert to have the most receptions in the game at plus 440. So if you put down a dollar, for every dollar you put down, you're getting 440 back. And this is on FanDuel, but kind of my evidence is that Goddard has been a key part of the Eagles' offense throughout the playoffs. He's actually been the leading pass catcher, or has at least tied for the share of the leading pass catcher the entire playoffs. I think the game script's also going to help him get there. I think Hurts is going to be under pressure, and he's going to be looking for those quick passes, not really have the time for those long AJ Brown passes to develop. The Eagles have been leading almost all their games. If they actually get pressed by the Chiefs early and have to pass more, then I think this even gives him a better shot because basically it narrows it down to just him and Brown. So
Yeah.
at plus 440, it's kind of a fun value, fun thing to watch out for.
I think it is. I like those odds. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, so if you want an alternate, you think it's too risky. I like his 4.5 reception line, but it's a minus 134 price. And it's like, how often is he actually going to get there? And like the game script that he needs to get those 4.5 receptions where he's not just going to be leading, or it's going
Right.
to be a
Yeah.
decent chance.
So take the plus 440.
Yeah. So those are
Right.
the main 5 bets I had. I did want to talk about some promotions that both the sites are doing that I think a lot of people will be looking to place wagers on. So on DraftKings, their promotion is that if you get their if you opt into the promo and your touchdown bet wins and that player had the longest touchdown, you get a share of $5 million in bonus bets. So whoever opts in and has that player gets a share. Very important note for this promotion and kind of in the fine details is that same game parlays are eligible and all the legs up to 3 count as your players in this bet.
Ooh,
So
nice.
I don't know if a lot of people are actually going to be reading that detail, and they might just place one player, place their Saquon, and miss their other 2 opportunities they could have by adding
Yeah,
them to a same game parlay.
that's cool.
So, kind of like we were talking about for the fastest ball carrier, is there's just not really a lot of players on the field that have those breakaway potential. So that's what I focused on the same game parlay is like for longest touchdown, give me those breakaway potential, give me the Saquon, Worthy, and AJ Brown. Those are those explosive weapons, and I think they can always take a play to the house.
Yeah, so they would be the most likely to get that longest touchdown and share this pool here.
Yeah. And hopefully we get a high scoring game. You still do have a same game parlay, and if all 3 get a touchdown, we get that high scoring game, then you get a $50 bonus. If you bet $5, it's a minimum of $5 for the promo, and this is a 9 to 1 payout. So
Nice. So one of the bets that I have seen is what's the yards of the longest touchdown of the game, and the over under I saw was 36 and a half. You on the over there or the under?
I
36 and a
think I'm
half
on
is a lot.
it is. And I think it would just come down to, does Saquon have one of those? I think he's the only one really that's going to do that. But I think the Chiefs' defense is kind of set up to limit those big plays. I think they're going to force the Eagles to beat them a bunch, but without that kind of home run play. So I do like the under for the longest touchdown there.
So what kind of promotion does FanDuel have going on?
So FanDuel's is a little, it's similar, but slightly different. So we're going to attack it differently. It is $2.5 million pools, and one for the first touchdown and one for the last touchdown. So you choose a player. If they get either the first or last, maybe they get both, then you get a share of those pools.
Okay.
But you only get one entry. You can't do a same game parlay. It's not allowed there. So you just get the one entry. And my strategy was like, I just wanted to find a good value of who I thought had a chance at a touchdown that I think the rest of the field might not be on, since it's just more random for the first or last. And I end up going after Goedert for a touchdown. We already kind of talked about how we think he's going to be more involved. His odds are plus 290. And it also helps us give that edge since we're betting on Saquon and Goddard to get a touchdown for that under 15 and a half. You know, if those don't hit, but Jalen Hurts get the rushing, then we already made a profit with the under 15 and a half. So
There you
we're
go.
good. But those are the kind
So
of the main promotions that I saw. I'm sure they'll come out with more when we get to this weekend. So definitely keep an eye out for what they make available.
yeah, and the odds are obviously always changing, so check out what odds are shifting to and see if you're still getting such a good deal. It's time to just have fun. One of the other ones I saw was largest lead of the game over under 13 and a half. You think anyone can take a 14-point lead?
I don't think so. I really like this game to just be close throughout. I think, I mean, these aren't my favorite teams, but I think we're going to get a great game just like we did last year. And that's kind of been the Chiefs' MO. As far as like a little side bet that I also placed was the Eagles to be winning at halftime and the Chiefs to win the game. It's a 7-1 bet, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Eagles have the better roster, but the Chiefs have the better quarterback and coach. So I kind of like them coming out on top, but especially in a halftime, I think the Eagles could win the first half.
Oh, so what if nobody's leading at halftime in that bet?
There is a
Are
tie
you-
option in that one too. So they do
Oh,
have to be leading. You could
they
take the
have to be
spread.
leading.
And interesting enough, when I was looking at FanDuel earlier, they have the Eagles the favorite to win the first half, even though they're not favored in the game.
Not favored in the game, but favored to win the first half. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it was weird. I
And
almost
then it
never
all
seen
comes
that.
back and
Yeah,
Kansas City figures out a way to make it happen. All right. Well, these are fun. I'm going to have to put some money down on these and get a little interesting to keep it fun. And any other bets or are we good?
not really. I might do some square competitions and just some people at a Super Bowl party, but and I'm sure maybe live I'll probably be talked into it. But that's all I got. However, you choose to bet, please bet responsibly and find markets that you enjoy to bet on that you're gonna have fun on. But hopefully everyone has a great Super Bowl.
Good point. Well, thanks for joining us for our bonus episode and hit the like button, hit the subscribe so when we come back next year, you'll you'll get notified and you'll be able to join us again. I guess we're done until, we get into free agency and then the draft. Now we've already got the news breaking like Cooper Cup's going somewhere. We just don't know where. I'm already looking forward to the crazy off-season trades.
Yeah, be back in a couple months. We'll get to enjoy the break. I don't think we'll really stop thinking about it, but we'll be back
Nope.
here soon.
Yep. Good luck this weekend. Have fun.